Losing somebody you love is one of the hardest things in life to face. And now you're going to be having to navigate a legal system you never dealt with. And if you wait too long or miss any critical steps, the case could be over before it even starts. I'm Matt Albrecht, a Washington State wrongful death attorney, and I've helped a lot of families across the state who had no idea how fast these claims can unravel. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 4 steps you're going to need to take from preserving evidence to proving every loss so that you can hold the right people accountable and give your family a real shot at justice. Step 1. Act immediately. Time limits matter in Washington State. Let's jump right into the first step. If you want to win a wrongful death claim in Washington, you have to take action immediately. I can't stress this enough. Not only are there strict time limits, but more importantly than that, evidence will be lost. Evidence goes away. Witnesses go missing, but on top of that, there are statutes of limitations that control how long you have to file your claim. You only have 3 years from the date your loved one dies to file a wrongful death lawsuit. And if you miss that deadline, your case will be over before it starts, no matter how valid or heartbreaking it is. These deadlines get even more complicated if more than one person dies. I once worked with a family in King County who lost their mother because of a trucking crash. They waited and they thought they needed to get everything together before talking to a lawyer. By the time they reached out, it was over 2 years since the crash had happened. In that situation, it was hard for them to find a lawyer who was willing to help because there's very little time left to gather information and verify records and decide to file court papers and get service of process accomplished correctly. Many lawyers won't even talk to you if you get too close to the statute of limitations. So thankfully they found us and we were able to hit that deadline. But it was a mad scramble and it didn't need to be. Trust me, that's not how you want to start a case. So why is this so important in Washington? As I said, the evidence is going to disappear, but trust me, the day after a wrongful death crash, the insurance companies are collecting evidence that supports their side of things. And if you don't have somebody looking out for you, they will always have somebody looking out for them. And that will end up with the deck stacked against you and against your family. So while you're in grief, I understand this, but I recommend right away that you should get someone else in your family to be helping, and you really do need to get an attorney on your side. Get a copy of the death certificate, write down everything you know about what happened, dates, times, people involved. Save any paperwork, photos, or evidence. Get a hold of and hire a wrongful death attorney in Washington State. You want somebody who's done this before. You don't want somebody who's doing this for the first time. The sooner, the better. So you want as much help as you can get. In our office, we take care of people from day one, and we're used to helping people who are in grieving. Now, most attorneys will talk to you for free at first, and they can help you understand your options and next steps. So don't be scared and wait thinking you can't afford us or you can't afford another attorney. Call first. Let us worry about that. Step number 2, gather and protect your evidence. In wrongful death cases, these details really matter. You have to build it like a puzzle or like the foundation of a building. And the more pieces you have, the more clear the picture becomes for everyone involved. You're painting a picture for your lawyer, for the other insurance company, and possibly someday for the jury. What counts as evidence? Well, it's more than just police reports or medical records. The smallest details can end up making a difference, as I gave you that example. Here's a short list. Photos or videos of the accident scene, vehicles, products, or the injuries, accident or incident reports from the police, employers, or businesses, medical records, bills for your loved one's treatment before their death, statements from witnesses who saw what happened, or just as good, phone numbers and contact information for anyone who was at the scene. Emails, texts, or notes that would show communications related to the event. In a recent case I handled in Spokane County, a father had just taken a photo of himself. That picture was so valuable and important for the family to tell their story about his peace of mind and where he was at just before the crash. And even more important, when the defense lawyer down the road wanted to claim that father was a bad father, his family didn't really miss him, what really was the impact of him being gone? That picture said 1,000 words. This was a proud father who was excited to see the joy in his daughter's eyes. Protecting that evidence means more, though, than just gathering it up. In Washington, it's smart to keep duplicates of everything. You should store digital images in the cloud and put hard copies in a safe spot at home. That's why you want to make a list of possible witnesses as well, as soon as you can think of them, because people will forget names and lose touch. And when you reach out to those people and you ask them for text messages or pictures, their text messages and pictures might go missing. One more tip: don't post about the case on social media. Insurance companies and defense lawyers will comb through Facebook and Instagram looking for anything they could use to try to prove that your loved one was really at fault or that you're not really going to miss your loved one. Tell the family members to do the same. Even innocent posts can come back to haunt your case. Just keep your posts to the basics. Spend your time with your family instead of on social media. If you're not sure what to save, bring everything to your attorney. We help sort through things and decide what's useful all the time. Step number 3, you'll have to prove fault. You're going to have to show why someone else is responsible. This is the heart of every wrongful death case, showing that someone else did something wrong and that what they did wrong led to the death of your loved one. In Washington state, you can win a wrongful death claim if you prove that another person or company's action or their failure to act caused the crash. A failure to act is a common claim that's made in negligent highway design cases, for example. So what does this look like? A distracted driver texting instead of watching the road. A doctor who misses a clear sign of a heart attack in the emergency room. Construction companies that don't protect dangerous spots they should have protected. Or a construction company that decides to skip out on a necessary safety check and someone on the job site gets injured. Let's talk about a real case from Spokane. A young man was walking a crosswalk when a commercial truck crashed into him late at night. The truck driver and his company tried to argue that the driver followed the rules and he couldn't see the pedestrian. It was late at night, and after all, the young man had been drinking. But nearby security footage showed that everyone could easily see this young man walking at a normal pace across the street. The truck just wasn't paying attention. But without that video, there would be a young man who'd been drinking late at night hit by a vehicle. To win your case in Washington, that's why evidence is so important. You need to show 4 key things. That the other side owed your loved one a duty of care. For example, if you're driving, even late at night, even when the pedestrian's been drinking, you still have a duty to watch out for pedestrians and avoid crashing into them. Number 2, that they failed to meet that duty. They were careless, reckless, or negligent. They had time to see the driver or they had time to see the pedestrian, but they didn't do the right thing. Number 3, that the failure to do that directly led to your loved one's death. For example, a dangerous condition in a construction zone. Number 4, that this caused real damages to your family. It's not enough to just prove someone made a mistake. You have to connect the dots step by step, so a judge or jury will see how each action led to the tragedy. That's why detailed evidence and experienced counsel is so important. Sometimes it could be more than one person or company that's at fault. Washington uses a rule called comparative fault. This means that if your loved one is partly responsible, you could still win, but an award might be reduced by that share of fault. For example, then a jury might decide that your loved one is 40% at fault and the other party was 60% at fault. This means that the total amount of damages suffered would be reduced by 40%, but you would still have the right to collect those damages that were the fault of the other party. And this is why proving fault isn't just about being right. It's about showing the whole story with proof that stands up to tough questions. This is why you need an experienced attorney who understands and is good at investigating and finding the facts and understands how to fight for your family's truth about your loved one. Number 4, prove your damages. Make sure that every loss is counted. The final step, often overlooked, is proving your damages. You need someone to help show exactly what you've lost, both in real dollars and real impact on your family. In Washington wrongful death cases, damages cover economic and non-economic losses, but they both have to be proven. Economic losses are things you can measure. For example, the medical bills for treatment before death, funeral expenses, out-of-pocket costs that are related to the death. This is the pain and suffering that your loved one went through before they died, and your loss of the future companionship, the emotional impact on the surviving family members. Let me tell you an example. He was a young man who had a very promising career, and his family was going to miss him immensely. Though he was not yet married, he was engaged, but he had no children, he had no wife, and he was an adult. Sometimes insurance companies will use a case like that to say, how much damage really is there? We brought in an economist who helped show what his real career would have been and how much his life would have meant, not just now, but for the decades to come. We brought in his employer and the people he worked with to talk about how extraordinary he was. We helped his family tell their story in their own words. Those stories matter, and they help not just juries, but insurers understand the full weight of your loss. Here's what you can do, though, to support your damages claim. You need to start by collecting all the bills, receipts, financial statements, and you need to be able to make some journals that would explain how your loved one contributed to your household, income, chores, emotional support. In your journal, it's a good idea to keep track of how his loss or her loss is affecting your family every day. In Washington state, certain family members can seek damages. Usually this means spouses, children, but it also can mean parents or siblings if they depended on the person who died. Your attorney can help make sure everyone who qualifies is included. Remember, the insurance company is going to try to downplay your losses. This is their job. They are not to pay you more money than they can get away without paying. So they may offer a settlement that sounds big but doesn't cover really what you're entitled to. That's why you need to document the losses, big or small, and don't settle for less than your family deserves. Let's quickly recap the 4 steps that you need to take in order to prevail on a wrongful death case in Washington state. Number 1, act immediately. Don't wait. Time limits could cut your case short. Number 2, gather and protect the evidence that you can. Number 3, prove exactly why someone else is responsible with facts and details. Number 4, prove your damages so that every loss your family has suffered is counted and valued. If you follow these steps, you'll be giving your family the strongest possible chance to win the security and justice you're going to need to help cope with this loss. You don't have to do this alone. An experienced wrongful death attorney from Washington state can help you every step of the way, fighting for your rights and taking care of the legal stress so that you can focus on healing and your family. If you found this video helpful, you might be able to learn something and enjoy 5 secrets that can help double the value of your car crash, which is our next video. I'll see you over there.